Ladies and gentlemen, stop whatever you're doing. Set down your coffee, pull the car to the side, and hear me out very, very carefully. Because what we have just witnessed in the blazing heat of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships is not simply a match. It is not merely a highlight package. It is a fundamental shift in the landscape of women's tennis. We promised you coverage. We promised you updates. But nobody, absolutely nobody, could have anticipated the enormous shockwave that has just rolled out from center court in the United Arab Emirates. The headlines are already being drafted. The posts are flying from the opening serve. But the story is straightforward, fierce, and breathtaking. Alexandra Eala has arrived, and she hasn't simply shown up. She has kicked down the front door of the top 10. Welcome to this special in-depth broadcast. I'm your host, and today we are dedicating this entire program to the match that has the whole sporting universe buzzing. The title on your screen speaks for itself. Going viral right now, Alexandra Eala stuns Jasmine Palini. The world is extraordinary, and honestly, looking at the tennis we just witnessed, the world is extraordinary because we are watching the real-time development of a superstar. Let's paint the picture. On one side of the net, we had Jasmine Palini, the Italian powerhouse, the world number 8, a woman who over the past 2 years has reinvented herself from a gritty competitor into a genuine Grand Slam contender, a finalist at Roland Garros, a finalist at Wimbledon, and Olympic gold medalist in doubles. Palini is the embodiment of established excellence. She is the guardian of the elite. She is quick. She is ferocious. And she does not fall to players ranked outside the top 30 without one hell of a battle. On the other side of the net, Alexandra Eala, the pride of the Philippines, the 20-year-old left-hander who has been steadily, quietly, and then loudly ascending the rankings. We know her story. The Rafa Nadal Academy graduate, the junior Grand Slam champion. But today she wasn't a junior. She wasn't a prospect. She was a warrior. Coming into this round of 32 encounter, the narrative was measured. Eala had an unusual first round, advancing after Hailey Baptiste withdrew with an injury. There were doubts. Was she sharp enough? Was she match-ready against a player of Palini's quality? Palini, fresh off a bye, was rested, primed, and a heavy favorite. The betting markets had the Italian winning comfortably. The analysts said Eala needed more seasoning. They said Palini's heavy topspin forehand would suffocate the young Filipina in the humid Dubai air. Well, the analysts were mistaken. What unfolded over the next 2 hours and 45 minutes was a tactical masterpiece that shattered every expectation. Alexandra Eala didn't just defeat Jasmine Palini. She outthought her, outshot her, and in the decisive moments she outbelieved her. We are talking about a 3-set thriller that had absolutely everything. The final scoreline, read it and weep, doubters 6-4, 5-7, 6-4 in favor of Alexandra Eala. But that scoreline, it's just figures. It doesn't tell you about the 26-shot rally at 4-4 in the deciding set where Eala simply refused to miss. It doesn't tell you about the thunderous inside-out forehand she unleashed to rescue a break point in the opening set. Doesn't capture the hush of the crowd as they realized the favorite was in serious trouble, followed by the eruption of the Filipino community in the stands, the home-away-from-home crowd exploding as match point was converted. This is going viral for a reason. This isn't just a victory, it's a declaration. It's Eala's third career win over a top 10 player, adding Palini to a list that already includes Madison Keys and Iga Swiatek from that unforgettable Miami run last year. But this feels different. Miami was a fairytale run. This felt like sustained brilliance. This felt like she belongs here. In this comprehensive broadcast, we're going to dissect every single aspect of this historic upset. We are going to examine the tactical adjustments Eala made to neutralize Palini's speed. We will explore the mental strength required to drop that second set, a set she led 5-3 and still come back to claim the third. Most young players fall apart after surrendering a lead like that. Eala simply regrouped. We will also look at what Jasmine Palini said at the net, a moment of pure sportsmanship that proves why she is a class act, and her post-match remarks where she called Eala an amazing talent and a huge figure for the future of tennis. And finally, we're going to examine the consequences. What does this do to the rankings? Eala is projected to crack the top 35 for the first time. What does this mean for the rest of the tournament? The draw has opened up. And what does this mean for Philippine sport, having a global icon emerging in real time alongside legends like Carlos Yulo? Buckle up. We have a wealth of analysis heading your way. We are going deep on the forehand mechanics, the serve placement, the court geometry, and the psychology of the upset. If you love tennis, if you love an underdog story, or if you simply want to understand why the internet is losing its mind right now, you are in exactly the right place. This is the Alexandra Eala Deep Dive. Let's get into it. Alright, let's strip away the excitement and examine the mechanics of this victory. How did it happen? How does a player ranked 47 in the world dismantle the world number 8 on a hard court? To understand today's outcome, we first have to understand the matchup dynamics. Jasmine Palini is a player who flourishes on movement. She's not the tallest competitor on tour, standing just 54, but she compensates with explosive footwork and a heavy buggy-whip forehand that produces enormous topspin. Her game plan is typically to push opponents deep, create angles, and wear them down physically. She is a wall that fires back even harder. Alexandra Eala, on the other hand, is a left-hander. and in tennis being a left-hander is the ultimate wild card. But for a long time, Eala's game was criticized for being somewhat one-dimensional, big power but vulnerable to errors when pressured. Today we witnessed version 2 of Alexandra Eala. The match opened with Palini serving. The Italian looked at ease, holding to love. The crowd, packed with Filipino expatriates based in Dubai, was vocal but nervous. They had watched Eala play tough matches before, only to fade physically. But at 2-2, something changed. Eala stopped trying to out-rally Palini from the baseline and began taking the ball earlier. This was the key tactical shift. Normally against a heavy hitter like Palini, you retreat to buy yourself time. Eala did the opposite. She stepped in. Let's talk about the Eala backhand. Today it was razor sharp. Palini loves to direct play to the opponent's backhand side to open up the court for her own forehand. But Eala's two-handed backhand was immovable. She was striking it flat and deep, denying Palini the time she needs to get her feet organized. The break came at 3-3. Eala read a Palini drop shot, a tactic the Italian deploys effectively, and not only did she reach it, she flicked a cross-court winner that clipped the line. It was bold. It was the shot of a player who carries no fear. Serving out the opening set at 5-4 was the first real test of nerves. Palini saved 2 set points. She was screaming at herself, trying to spark up, but Eala never flinched. On the third set point, she delivered a slider out wide, a classic left-handed serve, and Palini framed the return into the stands. 6-4, first blood to the underdog. Yet if the first set was about tactical brilliance, the second set was a war of endurance. Palini is a Grand Slam finalist for good reason. She adapted. She started hitting with more height, driving Eala behind the baseline, compelling the Filipina to generate her own pace from defensive positions. Eala struggled with this initially. Her unforced error count began to climb. The humidity in Dubai is suffocating even at night. You could see Eala toweling off after every point. However, Eala fought her way back. She broke Palini to lead 5-3. She was serving for the match. This was it. The upset was sitting on her racket, and then the moment got to her. It happens to the very best. At 5-3, 30-15, Eala double faulted, a tight, nervous mistake. Then she missed a routine forehand drive volley. You could sense the tension filling the stadium. Palini smelled opportunity. The Italian broke back 5-4, then Palini held 5-5. The momentum had completely swung. Eala looked shaken. She dropped her serve again at 5-6, and Palini closed out the set 7-5. At this point, 9 out of 10 tennis analysts would tell you the match is over. The underdog had her opportunity. She let it slip, and now the experienced campaigner is going to roll over her in the third. That is the standard script, the nearly story. We've seen it countless times, but this is precisely why we watch, because Alexandra Eala refused to follow that script. Between the second and third sets, Eala took a bathroom break, a mental reset. When she walked back out, her body language had transformed. In the second set, she was glancing at her coaching box in frustration. In the third set, she was focused only on the ball. The third set was a dogfight, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3. Neither player conceded a millimeter. Palini was grunting louder, striking harder. She was throwing absolutely everything at the 20-year-old. But Eala's fitness, which has been a central pillar of her preparation at the Rafa Nadal Academy, held firm. The pivotal moment arrived at 4-4, Eala serving at 15-40. 2 break points for Palini. If Palini breaks here, she serves for the match and it's almost certainly over. Eala saved the first break point with an ace down the tee, pure nerve. On the second break point, they played the rally of the match. 26 shots, forehands, backhands, slices, moonballs. Palini moved Eala from corner to corner. Eala looked beaten twice, but she scrambled each time, getting just enough racket on the ball to keep it alive. Finally, Palini tried to flatten out a forehand down the line, and she missed it by a hair, 1 inch. Eala held 5-4. The pressure shifted squarely onto the Italian. Serving to stay in the match, Palini cracked. Perhaps it was the fatigue of those extended rallies. Perhaps it was the relentless weight of Eala's returns. At 30-30, Eala stepped around a backhand and crushed an inside-out forehand winner. Her signature shot, match point, the stadium was deafening. Alex, chants were pouring down. Palini served. Eala returned deep. Palini hit a short ball. Eala moved in, planted her feet, and drove a backhand into the open court. Game, set, match, Eala. Let's examine the numbers because they tell a captivating story. First serve percentage, Eala served at 68%. This is a significant improvement. In her defeat last week in Doha, she was hovering around 55%. Against a returner of Palini's quality, you simply cannot miss first serves. Today she landed them when it counted. Winners versus unforced errors. Eala hit 34 winners to 28 unforced errors. Positive territory. Palini hit 28 winners but committed 31 unforced errors. That gap is the match. Eala was the aggressor, but she was a disciplined aggressor. Breakpoint conversion, Eala was 4 from 6 on breakpoints. Palini was 3 from 10. That is the difference between winning and losing. Eala was clinical. When she had an opening, she took it. Palini had chances, but Eala slammed the door shut. Whatever technical improvements we discussed, the serve, the forehand, the real narrative here is mental. Consider the context. Eala is 20. She carries the hopes of an entire nation on her shoulders. Every time she competes, social media in the Philippines ignites. The pressure is immense. To surrender a match-winning lead in the second set against the world number 8 and not implode, that reveals a mental maturity far beyond her years. We often speak of the natal DNA because she trained at his academy. Today we witnessed it. That refusal to surrender, that capacity to suffer on the court and almost relish it. When Palini was detonating bombs in the third set, Eala wasn't panicking. She was digging deeper. We must pay tribute to Jasmine Palini. She played a superb match. She didn't hand this to Eala. She forced Eala to earn every point. And her gesture at the net was beautiful, a warm embrace, a genuine smile, and words we later discovered were enormously generous. In the press conference moments ago, Palini said, "I knew she was talented, but I didn't know she was this tough." She hits the ball so cleanly. She's going to be a top player very, very soon. It is wonderful for tennis to have a star coming from the Philippines. This is what the title meant by "the world is wonderful." It's seeing the established guard acknowledge the rising talent. It's the sportsmanship. It's the understanding that the future of the sport is in capable hands. This victory sends a tremor through the locker room. The top 10 players know who the dangers are. They know Sabalenka. They know Swiatek. They know Goff. Eala was viewed as a hazardous floater, someone you'd rather not face in the opening round, but someone you're expected to handle. That changes today. Now Eala is a giant killer. She has proven she can match the pace of the top 10. She has proven she can absorb the physical demands of a 3-hour match in extreme heat. And let's address the surface. Dubai is a fast, hard court. Historically, Eala has performed well on hard courts, but her movement was occasionally exposed on quicker surfaces. Today, she moved like a gazelle. Her defense-to-offense transition, the ability to slide into a shot and then explode out of the corner, was top 20 level. Why is this going viral? It's not just the upset, it's how she won. There's a clip circulating right now of that point at 4-4 in the third set. It has 2 million views in the past hour. Why? Because it embodies the struggle. It shows a young woman refusing to be defeated by a seasoned champion. It's pure drama, and let's not overlook the crowd. The atmosphere in Dubai was electric. It felt like a Davis Cup tie or a Billie Jean King Cup match. The Filipino energy is infectious. When Eala won, the roar was primal. It brings a vitality to the WTA Tour that is sometimes absent in the early rounds of tournaments. Palini acknowledged this too, describing the atmosphere as crazy but incredible. "I want to return to the left-handed advantage." We saw today how uncomfortable Palini was with the spin on Eala's serve from the advantage court. Eala was sliding the ball out wide, pulling Palini off the court and then placing the next shot into the open space. This is a classic Rafa Nadal pattern adapted for the WTA Tour. Palini is 54. When you drag her wide, she needs extra steps to recover. Over 3 sets, those additional steps accumulate. By the final stages of the third set, Palini was half a step behind. That is the compounding effect of Eala's tactical serving. It wasn't about aces, it was about positioning. So where does this leave us? Eala is into the round of 16. She has defended her points from last year and added a substantial amount more. Her live ranking is surging. If she wins the next round, she could be looking at a seeding at the upcoming Indian Wells and Miami tournaments. But more importantly, she has the belief. You cannot purchase belief, you have to earn it. And today, in the heat of Dubai, Alexandra Eala earned a treasury full of it. She now understands that even if she surrenders a lead, she can still win. She knows that even if the world number 8 produces her finest tennis, Eala's best is superior. That is a perilous realization for the rest of the tour. As we bring this special broadcast to a close, let's pause and appreciate the weight of this moment. Sport is defined by these turning points. There is a before and an after. Before today, Alexandra Eala was a promising talent, a rising star, a regional hero in Southeast Asia. After today, she is a global threat to the WTA Tour. She is a legitimate contender at the 1000 level. The title of this video is "The World is Wonderful," and in many respects it captures the essence of sport. It is wonderful because it is unpredictable. It is wonderful because hard work, the solitary hours on the practice court, the rehabilitation, the travel, the sacrifices away from family actually pays off. We saw the emotion on Eala's face when that final ball landed out. She didn't collapse to the ground, she didn't scream. She simply closed her eyes and smiled, a look of pure relief and fulfillment. She looked up at her box, at her parents, at her team. That bond, that shared triumph, is what makes tennis so extraordinary. For the Filipino supporters watching this, treasure this moment. You have waited a long time for a singles player to break through to this level. You had the doubles legends, you had the regional champions, but a single star capable of defeating the world number 8 in a WTA 1000 event, that is rare air. But a word of caution, the tournament is not finished. The danger of a massive upset is the emotional hangover that follows. Eala needs to recover. She needs to ice down, get a massage, eat properly, and sleep, because the next opponent will not care that she defeated Palini. The next opponent will see a fatigued 20-year-old and attempt to exploit it. The true measure of a champion is not just scaling the mountain but remaining at the summit. Can she go all the way in Dubai? Why not? The draw has opened up. The confidence is flowing, her game is clicking. If she performs as she did today, with that blend of aggression and patience, that newly forged mental steel, there is nobody remaining in this draw she cannot overcome. We will be right here covering every step of the journey. If you enjoyed this deep dive, if you felt the rush of the match through our analysis, please make sure you are subscribed. We don't just report the scores here, we tell the story. And the story of Alexandra Eala is just reaching the most compelling chapter. Jasmine Palini, we salute you for a remarkable battle. You demonstrated why you are a champion. Alexandra Eala, congratulations, you just shook the world. From the desert sands of Dubai to the streets of Manila and everywhere in between, tennis is alive and well. The world is indeed wonderful. I'm your host signing off. Go pick up a racket, go dream big, and we will see you for the round of 16. Good night.